Last time I was asked to see which one you'd rather want to see first, the terraining down below for my megabase or an actual building part of it. But then I thought to myself, why not do both? There's no way I'm gonna get both done in one video, but at least today, we should at least get a good start on them. And I guess better time than any to actually mention what my megabase plans are. And after the debacles of last season, with a whole bunch of time and space incidences, I got inspired for what I want to build for this megabase for this season, being a whole bunch of things based on several different moments in time. So the 8 outer rings are going to have several different moments in time, maybe like a stone age, a medieval age, a futuristic age, and plenty of other different types of ages. And then the very center is going to have to be something that'll tie time all together in one. And that thing in question is actually going to be an hourglass, which just so happens to be the thing we'll be starting on today for this megabase. Unfortunately, I had tons and tons of extra sand used to create the TNT, which meant that I already have quite a decent amount of sand being turned into glass right now. So at least at the very start, glass isn't going to be the issue. But before anything else, we have to actually lay out the bottom framework of this thing. And for now, it'll just be built out of cobblestone, but later on we will change out for wood. Mainly because I don't have enough wood to build the bottom bit yet, and several stacks of cobblestone placed down later. And this is the bottom base I built for this entire hourglass. And honestly, it might not seem too incredibly big, but imagine this, but going up about 100 blocks in the sky. But to get to that 100 blocks, we're of course gonna have to start placing down the glass. And the way I'm making the shape is I'm actually using an app. It's called Voxel Toolbox, which can make a whole bunch of different shapes, and my shape in particular is going to be built from that one app. Actually, we're gonna have to build the shape once the right way up, and then another time upside down. And even though I've not seen an hourglass for literally years at this point, I at least know that they are fairly symmetrical going up and down. About half an hour later, I originally thought this was just gonna be mind-numbing boredom, just going up and up and up, but actually, it's been kind of fun going up every single layer. But then again, we've only gone up 8 layers so far. We have another, I don't know, 40 to go just on the first half. So hopefully I could say the same thing as we keep going up, but I'll have to wait for a while because I'm out of glass. And I kind of knew I was going to go through all the glass I had pretty quickly, but I was kind of hoping it was going to last a little bit longer. Unfortunately, that was only like 18 stacks of sand smelted, and there's a bunch more that actually got smelted. And what's this? What's it? Duba is going up. Duba for Mayub. Well, I really don't know what a Mayub is, but it sounds like James is having some competition now. Oh wait, there's more. There's Duba has been saved by the Wada Duba for Mayub. Oh, look at, they're literally everywhere. They're all over my base. Duba, what have you done around here? Duba is now regretting coming down here. How do I get out? Fortunately, there are ways I'm getting in and out, but it seems though, again, we're getting some competition here and there. But was that it? Was that all of them? Or is there more to be seen around the place? Oop, haha, look down, it's my face, Duba for Mayub. Oh, how did I miss that? How did I miss that? I will say, Duba, that the bird poop eyes do really match your skin tone right here. And I think I know something else that would match perfectly with you. So I was walking by to get some item frames and I noticed Duba would be pretty cool for mayor, and then this sign saying no. And, you know, I'm not disagreeing with this one sign, but I think there's a slightly better way in actually saying that. Just a, you know, little James for mayor right here. And I'm sure Duba won't mind if I put one of these maps on his base. Duba is wearing a suit, very formal. Well, Duba, you know what's even better than a suit? Brown mayoral pants. I'm never gonna hear the end of those pants, aren't I? But how long did it take me to get distracted from my megabase? Like, I think we're only a few minutes into the video and I'm already getting sidetracked. Well, I guess while we're roundabout, we might as well pick up a little bit more sand. It feels like for some reason or another, every single video I have to come back to this mining desert. Sand for the TNT, sandstone for the James for Mayor poster, and now sand for glass for my megabase. But after our weekly trip to the desert, I have no idea if a full short cruise is going to be enough to get all the glass I needed, but I don't know, there's only one way to find out. Right after we get it all smelted down into glass, which only took a few hours of AFKing. But while I was AFKing, something very weird happened. That subscriber count you see below the video hit 14,000 subscribers. Now I have nothing planned in particular, and if I'm honest, by the time you see this video, it's probably going to be old news, but I figured it's worth mentioning, and I figured it's worth thanking you all for subscribing. But you know, even if I don't have anything planned, I think it's best to do what I do best inside of videos, being mega projects like what we see here. So let's do just that, and get a lot of this hourglass built up. about 3 hours of placing glass later, and we're about 2/3 of the way done building up this entire hourglass. And we'd probably be done with the glass part at this point if we hadn't run out of glass. Okay, mental note, an entire shulker box of sand is not enough to build up this entire hourglass. But even if it's not done, I think we could step back for a little bit just to see what it's looking like so far. And are we gonna be okay? Yeah, we're gonna be okay. Of course we're gonna be okay. Ooh, that is looking so good. That's looking really good. And even though it's not completely done, you can kind of get a good idea as to what this is eventually going to be looking like. And you know, I wasn't really sure if I was actually going to get this entire exterior of the hourglass done, but I think now it's a little bit more possible, and it looks a little bit more feasible now. But of course, to do that, we're gonna need more glass. You know, at this rate, I probably should have just built a Megabase in the desert. I mean, I already spent like 2/3 of my time over here anyways. Wait a minute. Puffermare, how did I miss this sign when coming out of the portal? I mean, okay, I'm fine with having signs all over the place, but like, why in front of my portal? Like, why right there? I don't know, all this aggressive advertising makes me feel like the chessboat bros might need to step up their game just a little bit. But we'll worry about that later after we get all the sand put in here. And while that's smelting, I kind of want to start on the terraining part of my base. And honestly, even though I know it'd probably be easier to do the walls first, I think I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up with the terraforming. And for absolutely no reason at all, I'll start working on this side. Because my idea is around this main center circle, there's going to be a river surrounding it, and there's going to be waterfalls and everything like that. And I think for now at least, we should dig out the river area a little bit. And after doing that for just over an hour, I mined out just over a quarter of this river around this main ring, and some people might think it'd be easier just to mine out the entire river and then fill it all in, but I don't know, I like doing things the harder way in some cases. That, and also I kind of just want to get a rough idea as to where this terraforming is actually going to go. And honestly, if I do the entire thing and I don't like it, then I'd have to redo the whole thing. But before we actually flood in the entire river part, we have to fill in the bottom of the river with, you know, blocks you would typically expect a river to have. Yeah, so something like this. Something will just continue going on and on and on across the river, which is exactly what I did in this time lapse right here. And having finished the decoration, I've come to the realization that I probably should have gotten some clay in here too. But oh well, it's fine. We can work with what we have. And I don't know how many people do this most days anymore, but I remember back in the day where lots of people were just to build one mega like flat area, fill it in with water, and then destroy that. What I like to do is I like to fill in every single layer one at a time, which, you know, might take a little bit longer, but will at least give all source blocks all around the place. And honestly, I don't really mind if it takes a lot longer to do it this way, because filling in water is by far one of the most satisfying things you could do in the game. And honestly, even with the water just here, it already feels so much more alive than what it was before. But to cementify that life, we should probably add in a little bit of seagrass here and there. Yep, that's exactly what this place actually needed. And another thing this place actually needs is probably some fish, and for some reason or another, fish just aren't spawning inside of here, so I'm gonna have to go out to the ocean every now and then just to find some. So it's looking pretty good so far, but without any dirt or grass or anything on the side, it makes it look sort of like an apocalyptic lake just in the middle of nowhere. But fixing that shouldn't be too hard. And so after a few long, hard hours of doing nothing but placing dirt down, we have ended up with all of this terrain built up around the place. And while not everything is built up completely, because if I'm honest, I did run out of dirt fairly quickly, a lot of it we have right here still looks really good. And easily one of my favorite parts around here is actually this little bit right here. Some of the TNT, when we actually dropped it, didn't quite hit this area right here, which actually made for one of the most beautiful little arches we could see right here. But of course, there's one thing in particular we're going to need in order to get grass. By mining up some of it up here, placing it down around the new terrain, and then sit back and watch the magic happen. And my original plan was to AFK the entire time to just watch the grass completely grow over, but for some reason or another, about every 20 minutes or so, I would just lose connection. And I tried this for about 5 times over, again and again and again, until I just decided to give up and AFK there myself. But even with that slight disappointment, and even though we're only about a quarter of the way done with this terraforming, minus the trees, minus everything else like that, I still think this is a pretty good direction to actually take the terraforming in. So just imagine this, but with a whole bunch of trees and foliage and everything like that, going all the way around the center ring. And I think then the terraining part of my Megabase is shaping up to be really amazing at that point. But now it's time to check back on our sand to see how well we've done. And, oh, well, I think we have enough glass to actually finish the hourglass part of this. And honestly, because we don't have too much more left to do on the glass part of this hourglass, I think, realistically speaking, we could probably get this done within like an hour or two. You know what, not even 2 hours. I think I could get the rest of this glass part done within an hour. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but let's see and find out. Exactly 1 hour and totally not 2¼ hours later, all the glass I wanted to place down has been completely and fully placed down, and while it did seem big before, now it seems even bigger than before. Yeah, probably not the right choice of words, but still, it's humongous now. And I didn't even expect that we would ever reach the 200s, but somehow or another, this thing was tall enough to actually reach it. It's also wide enough to the fact that we could actually jump off of this one thing and land straight right down into the river. And yep, even looking for back here, it does give the hourglass vibe, and I think we are now at the point where we could actually replace that cobblestone with some wood, right after we go get the wood we need. Oh, and seems as though even more mayor campaigns have been put up around the place. Geez, they're everywhere. I'm glad we have some James for Mayor signs, but seriously, they're everywhere. And what's this thing? What's this thing? Vote for Demonic. He will give everyone a cookie. Okay, and wait a minute. Is that Puffy? Is that Puffy? Is that actually vote Puffy for mayor? Well, Puffy, well, you certainly are getting your voice out right here. And like I would do that to harm that campaigning in any way. Certainly doesn't sound like something I would do. No, not at all, not at all. I mean, does that even sound like something I would do? I mean, of course not, of course not. But anyways, the real it's even up here. It's literally, there's campaigns everywhere. Okay, literally, the reason I came up here is because the place around the actual town is getting kind of built up, which means I'm having to resort to growing my trees on the roof. Is there an easier way to do this? Probably. Am I gonna do it now? No. I mean, I just grew a tree. And after growing several more trees on the roof, I think we have enough wood for this hourglass. And so I began by replacing all the cobblestone I placed down just with spruce wood planks, because personally, I think the color of the spruce planks works best for what I'm going for here, as well as topping off the top part with spruce wood planks as well. And originally I thought just slabs were going to be enough to actually let light through, but unfortunately they weren't, which means around each and every one of these torches is actually some stairs, which for some reason or another, just lets light through. But in terms of the hourglass itself, I think there's a couple other things we're going to have to do to make it into an actual hourglass. One is to actually fill it up with sand and things like that, which I think we'll do another time. But two, adding in 4 separate pillars around the outside here. But to do that, we're going to finally have to remove the stone brick ring around the place. And with those gone, now we can actually place in the pillars. So the bottom part of it's going to be made out of dark oak, and then the actual pillar part of it's going to be made out of spruce. And looking at it from right here, I've realized there is a long way up we have to actually go for each and every one of these. And also the spruce part of these pillars, I want strips, so that's gonna add another complication to this entire thing. Wait, I think I have an idea. This might not go too well, but I'm willing to try it at least once. So break that, and no, I did the wrong thing, and I survived. And most of that is actually stripped. So I guess I could do that the rest of the time, but if I'm honest, I do like my legs to be not broken by the end of this video, so I might just do it maybe this long and slow way every time I go up, as well as maybe a few more times doing it this way, and 29 more ups and downs later, I think we've just about managed to complete up these pillars, as well as most of what I wanted to do today for this one megabase. And if we come back here and have a look at what we did today, then we can obviously tell that we have made some incredible progress today, and obviously, again, we're going to need some sand inside this eventually, but I think for what we managed to do, I'm really happy with, like, the actual start we've actually managed to do for this one base. But now the only problem, I have to live up to the expectations of that thing with every other single ring around this one place. As well as with the rest of the terraforming down there, but I think we can manage it. I think we can do it. But again, considering all the advertisements we're seeing around for mayor, I think we're gonna have to step up our game just a little bit here. And look at this, even Tomate's getting into the map art world. But I have a good idea as to what the Chessboat Bros and I could do to get ahead of this advertisement for mayor, which will probably work on in between videos, so look forward to that in the next video. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.